Hey everyone, welcome to Princess of the Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with episode 8 of Symphogear. Yes, another episode of Symphogear this week. Like I said before, I'm invested in this series and I just want to see more. And I mentioned in the update video I made that was one of the things I very much wanted to start actually, living up to with this unscheduled format. Just getting to things when I want to get to them. And if that means getting to more Symphogear more often, I mean, if that's what it means, that's what it means. It's like I just wanted to get to them, so I'm getting to them. But yeah, so last time Chris got betrayed by her master, by Fine, and she tried to go back to her. And Phoenix like, bitch, you don't even listen to me, and just attacks her. Also, it was clarified in the comments that the second armor that Chris used in the battle against Hibiki was indeed a Symphogear. So I do have that confirmation. The first armor was the Relic. The second is actually a Symphogear. Okay. And that is what the singing is about and everything. So I was correct on that. And it's going to be interesting to see where this goes from here. So, yeah, I'm like I said, very invested in this. To the point where it's like, I got to react to this. I got to react to something else after this. And I'm not even like taking a break for like any food right now. I just have a bowl of Fruity Pebbles with me while I'm recording this, because it's like I want to get to this again. I don't really have time to stop to eat for something because I got to record a movie after this, basically, which you will see this weekend. But yeah, it's like, and I just, to make sure I have the time, I have to record it right after this so I don't have time for a lunch break beforehand. So I'm just having this to tide myself over. But I've seen some other reactors like eat something or whatnot during reactions, like Not Your Average Fangirl has done it. Elijah, she's done it. That's who I'm talking about. Elijah is Not Your Average Fangirl, but still. Alicia X Life, even though she uses a VTuber model, you can still hear her eating at some points. Yeah, so I'm sorry, but just due to my recording schedule today, I gotta. But either way, I'm very excited to see where this goes, so we're just gonna get into it. So when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black, then it fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So, that being said, excuse me, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. Yeah, another really good episode. We see how Chris is, fighting the noise and starting to realize and come to terms with the fact that she was used and abused and her entire life has been absolute shit, and I really, really feel for her. I keep talking about this pretty much every time, but the trauma baby trope is legitimately a trope that I really connect to. And while it may not be like an officially recognized trope, like I don't think it's on TV tropes from what I saw, it is one that I have heard other people use, and I have always used myself. And like Chris is very much within that. I believe the newspaper in episode 1 said that a rescued girl went missing. So, and from what we gather with her past and all being kind of a slave and everything, she was enslaved probably from a very, very young age. At some point, she was rescued from the slavery and torture and shit she was experiencing But then after her rescue, she went missing, which is probably when Fine got to her. And so I presume that Chris has never experienced human kindness prior to Hibiki. That everything she has experienced in pretty much her entire life, especially like since she's been, you know, intelligent enough to perceive what's been going on around her, she's been through hell, absolute hell, like hell that someone like myself could never relate to. Like I cannot connect to something like that. I cannot relate to that. I've had my own traumas, my own experiences, my own issues, but not like that. And I'm very fortunate for that. And I'm very privileged for that. But there's a lot of people who will understand that. A lot of people around the world who, even in the modern day, would understand that. And that's really fucked up. That we still have slave trades in the modern day. That we still have shit like this going on in different countries around the world. Even here in America, there have been people caught and tried for sex trafficking and shit like that. And it's one of the most evil fucking things someone can do. Human trafficking, sex trafficking, slavery, like all of that is so absolutely evil. It just astounds me that anyone can think to do that. Like, it makes me feel almost physically sick even thinking about that kind of shit. And there's people out there who just think, oh, this is okay. It's okay to take human beings and, you know, treat them like property, to abuse them, to injure them on purpose, to just horrifically, physically, mentally, and emotionally scar them for life. This is perfectly normal. No, it's fucking not. Oh my god. I genuinely can't understand how people can think that that's okay. I genuinely, it cannot, not just does not, but cannot compute in my mind how anyone could think to even slightly think to do that. And so it's made very fucking clear that Chris is pretty much like even above the others in this series, who they would still count as trauma babies as well. Notably Tsubasa and Hibiki. Hibiki to less of a degree, but still, she went through a very traumatic experience nonetheless. But it's very clear that Chris is the most trauma riddled one of them. At least so far. There might be more than that in the future. I don't know. I don't know if my heart can take it, if there are. And if anything gets worse than Chris, it's like, Jesus fuck. But right now, Chris is definitely the most trauma-riddled, and I genuinely feel extremely bad for her. And as has been made clear by this point as well, part of my investment in the series is with the characters and is with the fact that I do care for and connect to traumatized characters because of the trauma I've gone through, even if it's much more minor than some of these characters. It's still something that I understand, and it's still something that I've experienced. And even if I hadn't, like, I understand how to be sympathetic towards people, you know? I feel bad for people even when it's something I haven't experienced, when it's something that I thankfully wouldn't experience. I still can feel bad for them because they're human. I don't want anyone to go through terrible shit like that. But Chris finally got to see positive human interaction for the first time, and she didn't believe it. She didn't believe any human could be like that because everything she had experienced taught her the opposite. She got positive human interaction and saw the kindness and love of humanity. But she refused to believe it. Then, after Fine originally kicked her out before she went back to her, Chris got to experience that again with the brother and the sister and reuniting them with their father. And now, in this episode, it kind of comes to a head when, after falling unconscious due to her fights with the noise, she's rescued by Miku, and Miku ends up wanting to be her friend after they start connecting. And you can see how conflicted Chris is. You can see how much pain she's been through and how much she just doesn't trust this. But also you can see her desire to trust this. You can see that she wants, more than anything, to believe Miku. But that she just doesn't right yet. You can feel the pain inside of her just telling her no. You can't be betrayed again. And it's heartbreaking. For someone so young to be going through those kind of emotions is absolutely heartbreaking. She deserves so much better. And I really hope that by the end of this season, at least, she realizes this and accepts Miku's friendship. And maybe Hibiki's as well. But at least Miku's. And I'm hoping that she joins in the fight against Fine by the end of this season, too. Because there would be a lot of catharsis in seeing her team up with the other Symphogear users to fight against the one who had, one of the people who had basically enslaved her for so long and mistreated her and abused her and manipulated her. It's like that would bring forth a sense of catharsis that I really, really want. But it's not even just about the Symphogear users. As we see in this episode, humans can have strength even without that kind of power. We see Miku's strength in this. Her willingness to act as a distraction for the noise so that Hibiki can save the woman from the restaurant, from Flower. And she acts as a distraction and continues to run, continues to use, the ability she got running, and keeps leading it around, basically just waiting at that point for Hibiki to return. And she never gives up. She never gives up, and Hibiki does return, and she does save her. But she acknowledges that she's taking on Kanede's will to not just save people, but to encourage them to fight as well. Not necessarily in the same way, obviously, but to never stop fighting, to never give up. The same kind of encouragement that led her to where she is now, she has to give to others. Which is a great lesson for the viewers of the series to hear. It's like, yeah, even if you don't have power, even if you don't have a lot of skill and whatnot, you can still fight. You can still do your best. Never give up. Never just let whatever's affecting you or the influences around you, the circumstances around you, never let that control you. That's a very good lesson. And on top of it, we do see Hibiki and Miku make up and become best friends, quote unquote, again. um, yeah, I'm like I said in the reaction, I'm really glad that it didn't take long. I'm really glad that they didn't stretch this out like until the end of the season or something. I was really worried about that. But no, instead they resolve it pretty damn quickly, and all is good again. Um, we find out that Miku wasn't actually angry at Hibiki for keeping the secrets. That was just an excuse she was giving. In reality, she was scared for Hibiki. She was scared that she was putting herself through too much and taking on too much on her own. And she was worried that Hibiki would, hurt herself or worse. And she couldn't be around that. Miku felt that she couldn't be around that and that it would hurt her too much to be around Hibiki while she was doing this to herself. So she chose to separate herself from Hibiki so she didn't have to see that kind of slightly self-destructive lifestyle. Even though I think Miku was a little exaggerating on how bad it was. It really wasn't that self-destructive, but it was a little bit, maybe. Trying to handle everything on her own was definitely a problem that, honestly, like, she should have realized was also the problem with, Tsubasa. Like, that was definitely Tsubasa's issue as well, so it's like, you're kind of doing the same thing here, girl. Again, not to the same degree by any means, but still. And so yeah, it was another good episode, and it's definitely showing us the path Chris is taking to change, to become a good guy. Again, we knew Chris was going to join the good side. It's fairly fucking obvious. The question is, how long is it going to take, and where is it going to lead into that? And we're starting to see that now. So, yeah. Another good episode. After this, let's see. We have 5 more episodes left? Yeah. So, yeah. We're well on our way, right? Tell me in the comments below, what did you think of this episode of Symphogear? And for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.